What did we talk about?
Yeah. So first we talked about time management and
Structure.
Why I don't fucking do the things I know I need to do.
Why we
shit's
all.
So hard. Why
not
we
just
all.
you.
Yeah, not just me. Yeah, not just me.
But yes, good for keeping accountability.
Right.
But why we all. It's not just you.
No.
Because then it feels like it's happened. The victim thing.
Right.
But why we all do these things. Which is a problem in general. This is why we're talking about it.
For sure.
We just happen to be recording it.
Yeah, procrastination. It's a real thing.
Yeah, procrastination, yes.
Anyway,
like setting just goals in general. Yeah. We talked about goals in general. Like stuff that we want to do, but then not knowing how to do them.
Yeah.
And then how to find a purpose.
Introspection too, because we talked about
a lot of introspection is necessary for you to understand and have like a simple, going from complex problems to making them simple.
There were a few things that hit me hard. I'm trying to remember what the fuck they were, bro. I'm trying to remember what they were. I know one of them right off the bat was why do I feel like I need to help people, and then the other one was not knowing how to love myself for fucking positive self-talk. It's like I used to tell them, but anyway, that's cool. Learn some cool shit.
It's the self-care aspect. The self-care aspect in general, you should take care of yourself first so that you're in a good place to help others. That we talked about, and we talked about a lot about Paul Conti, like the structure of the self, function of the self, but we were not talking about it in those terms for the most part. We were talking about it actively of what was going on, and then I brought that up.
That applies to everybody.
And we also talk about the Coleman Ruiz and Andrew Huberman shit. I can't bring that up. I know we talked about it.
It was great. Fucking.
But yeah, everybody should just go listen to Paul Conti episodes. He has a 4-episode guest series, Andrew Huberman with Paul Conti. That is absolutely a necessary thing for everybody. Highly recommend. And the Coleman Ruiz episode today.
Yeah, that Coleman Ruiz.
That was like putting everything into perspective.
That was pretty much like Dr. Paul Conti tells you how it is, and then the Coleman Ruiz podcast pretty much sent it home. That's a real life application that applied to.
Vulnerability. Where he's like, even me as a trained SEAL team guy, everything. Yeah. It all still went to shit. It all still went to shit. But then he learned how to deal with it. So even people like that high in discipline and stuff, they still can fall. So it's not a how good you are thing. It's a human thing, So it's just a part of the nature that if you don't understand yourself, that's what happens. It's like you have to be capable of being vulnerable for the most part, and be okay with it.
Shit's hard.
It's uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
Oh yeah, uncomfortable truths was another thing we talked about.
That's a big thing we talked about.
We talked about hard truths. I'm like, you could label this hard truth. This whole episode was about fucking hard truth, man.
But yeah, we talked about all that. Hopefully there's something there that we talked about that everybody could use.
Oh yeah.
But definitely go listen to Paul Conti. He has a lot of podcast episodes with a lot of people. So highly recommend.
And shout out Huberman Lab, inspiring us to.
He's great. Cool. He's great.
Shout out Andrew Huberman.
But all right then. Have a good day. Have a good day, everybody. Hopefully you build up your generative drive over your other drives. And everything goes well.
Seeker. Yeah.
And everything goes well.
Moderation. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Have a good one. So, Morning Revenge. Why the fuck were we talking about Morning Revenge? Oh no, yeah. Okay, I remember now. It's just because my day is just so filled with shit to do. Like work takes 4:20 when I wake up, and last at 5, clocking at 5, and we're going all the way till 2 p.m. And then after that's done, I generally take about 30 minutes to kind of not wind down, but just mentally divide, right? Because sometimes you got to do that. You can't carry if anything bad happened there. You can't take that with you. So mentally divide, leave everything there, and then you go to the gym. Because I go to EOS right after. I'm 30 minutes, 10 minutes in my car, another 10 minutes to get there. Then I go to the gym, and then I work out for another 45 minutes to an hour 20. Because it's a 45-minute workout plus a 15-minute sauna.
Right.
Generally. And then, by the time I get home, what time is that? It's usually 3 or 4? And then if I'm down for Mackay's after some shit, we usually go eat Mackay's 4:30, maybe 4:45. By the time I get home, it's 5. I either have to do laundry or I have to, pack my gym bag for the next day or some shit. It's I get maybe 3 hours to myself, maybe 2, depends.
Right, you should be doing stuff for yourself then, instead of bullshitting on the internet.
But I'm unwinding after fucking.
Unwinding is unnecessary. That's what sleep is for.
Okay, so how would you help me okay, how would I help myself is a better question. How would I help myself instill that kind of thing? Like, I need a reminder. I'm still kind of a child a little bit,
find the reasons. So like there has to be these reasons for you to do stuff on those 3 hours that you have.
Okay.
Like you have to find a reason to like maybe learn something new.
Yep. Or, nope.
You have to. I know you don't feel like it. But that's a problem with the generative drive that you have.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't feel like it.
I really don't.
But that's half the problem. Like you're letting your feelings dictate that, which it's not good because you're bullshitting those 3 hours. Like you had 3 hours for yourself and all you did was bullshit. That's a problem. Pretty much. That's a little bit of a problem,
Okay, and that's what brings into fucking the concept of morning revenge. So morning revenge itself is pretty much delaying going to bed because, like you say, you woke up early, you have to do shit, and you don't have time. Or let's say you woke up late. Okay, so you went to bed late the night before and you woke up late. So you stay up late because you missed out on the shit that you had in the morning, right?
Sure.
And that's why. Oh, pardon me, folks.
Bye.
Oh yeah. So so by doing so, like say you wake up at 11, you usually wake up at 8. You wake up at 11, and then you're like, fuck. My day is so much later. I have so much to do, so I'm gonna stay up a little bit later to compensate for the hours that I missed in the morning.
Which is okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is okay.
But it's kind of like that. But I hear a but though.
That is okay. Like you can be like, I'm gonna stay up an extra hour to do this particular thing, but it has to matter. The thing that you did in that extra hour can't be bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was getting at the fact that you kind of resent going to bed for missing that lack of time. I resent having to do the hard work for, having lack of
an hour of sleep for doing work.
Only having a certain amount of personal time. So because I think
personal time meaning what here?
Meaning not
bullshitting?
Yes, essentially.
No.
I guess that's why I'm still a kid.
Boy, it's not about that. It's like,
when is it okay to rest?
When you're asleep.
I get you.
You think about it. If you ask that to Goggins, he's gonna be like, "That's a stupid question."
Right, but is it not enough what we fucking do already all day? If work takes like 10 hours,
are you in the position to say that I'm good? Where you're not like fully exactly? Then no. Then literally no.
Fuck.
Right. It's like it's really that.
But
like you want to make an excuse, and you're like, I just want to chill.
I do.
But that's not the time to chill. It's the time to work on yourself. Whatever way you like. Like it'll be better for you to like in those 3 hours to go like to a fighting class, and then after those 3 hours fall asleep. Then the next day go to work, go to the gym, go to a fighting class, and then fall asleep.
Come on. Yeah.
But you have the feeling of unwindness that you're like, I just want to chill.
Yes, because I feel like I've done so much already, like mentally taxing at work and then physically taxing at the gym.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm not telling you not to do it, but I'm asking you, do you really find that a thing that helps you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing enough, and where I feel like.
Do you? I'm asking you as in like not coming from the point where you're like, I don't think you are.
Right.
And I'm not coming from there. I'm asking you genuinely, do you truly think that? Or is that just something that you're just saying?
I genuinely think I could be spending my time doing better things. But because of that fact, it's reluctance. So it's like instead of going, I don't want to go put in extra work, I just put in all this fucking work. Let me relax a bit, then do that. It's a tendency. You know what I'm saying? And then I tend to not get back to work.
Right. It's a tendency. So even I have those tendencies.
So what is it? Prioritization then? Because I used to do that for the gym. Right? So go home. Or after work you'd go home and then you would unwind a little bit, then go to the gym, which may or may not help you. For me, that doesn't help me because once I unwind, it's less likely for me to get back up off the fucking couch.
Right.
You know?
So that's not necessarily a good thing. The way you said it, it didn't sound like a good thing because you're like, as soon as I unwind, I'm kind of fucked after that.
Pretty much. Do you not like go home and do you not want to go anywhere after running around all fucking day, doing shit, going to work, going to the gym, running errands on the way home? Because you may have to grab some toilet paper, or some shaving cream, or some shit for the night or for the day.
So
after, you feel me?
I guess the problem there would be if you have things that you have to get done and you haven't done them, you have no time to unwind yet.
Okay.
Is that not correct?
Yeah. I'm more lenient
maybe
with...
it's like a timeline thing. Like you know how we were listening to that podcast today, and he was like, I only really thought 24 hours ahead.
Yeah.
For the longest time.
Basically.
But he had a structure within those 24 hours that there's stuff he needed to do.
Right.
He obviously needed to sleep,
Needed to
whatever.
train, work out.
Yes, but there's stuff that needed to get done within those 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The unwinding aspect was mainly his sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then he woke up and then got whatever needed to get done. But you're not necessarily going to feel satisfied if those things are not done. And then from there, you could be like, okay, one day, you look into that one day, you set a structure. These things need to be getting done. And as soon as those things are done, unwind. But you have to set the structure for yourself to those things get done first. And then you unwind.
So for me, I guess I need to put more shit in there. Because for me, it's work and gym.
Right.
And videos used to be one of them. But God honest, I've been slacking.
Exactly. So the problem is mainly you think going to the gym and going to work is enough work in general for yourself to just unwind after that.
Pretty much.
But that just puts you in the position you've been for the last couple of years, doesn't it? Just like how, even for me, that would be the same case if I just did that. If I just went to the gym and went to work and did nothing else, I would bullshit for the rest of the day.
No.
But for me, that's less hard because I don't work as long as you do.
Right.
But even then, you still shouldn't. Because you want other things.
Right, I do.
But like doing the same thing over and over and thinking that that's gonna change.
It can, but you have to align some shit yourself.
It's the planning aspect. It's the planning aspect because you're like, okay, if this is enough,
Mm-hmm.
how long should it take to get what you deserve, that you think you deserve, because that makes you satisfied?
As soon as I decide to fucking get it, because I don't want it bad enough yet.
Right.
Because if I did, I wouldn't be smoking weed right now.
But then it's, what do you want? It's
peace.
Well, I
want fucking peace, but I can't have that yet because I haven't earned it.
Well, that's not how it works. You have to put in the work. You can
that's
just
what I'm
say
saying.
you can't just say I don't have it yet, so I don't deserve it. It's like there's these things you have to do to get this peace. It's mainly that. But then you have to be like, so what things?
Right.
And just write those down. Right. Write those down. And then you're like, okay, so if I do those things, at the end of the day, at least I have that 1 hour of like, I can actually chill. Instead of like you bullshitting for an hour and being like, I'm fine. And then the next thing you're like, why did I do that?
Right.
That's the problem. And it's not a you problem, it's a us problem. Because if I'm telling it to you like this, it sounds like I'm telling it to you. But it's not a thing that you only do. Even me, myself, I would do shit like that.
Right.
But I'm trying to tone that down more. This is why I'm like telling you this. Because I'm like, the less you bullshit, the more you generate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better to keep generating until you're in a position where you can actually unwind properly, where you have this sense of peace.
Okay, but when is it enough?
That's a thing you decide. That's a true thing that you have to decide for yourself. It's like a standard you choose. So you're like, I'm here and I get to chill there.
But what's an improvement for the difference between today versus tomorrow? How are you better than...
Right. And like, and it's the thing where he was saying 24 hours. You need to make sure you're satisfied with those 24 hours if you're looking just 24 hours ahead.
Right.
And then if you're like, okay, I can look at a week ahead. And they're like, there's these things I have to do within this week. They have to get done.
Right.
Like, there's no like, but I have to do this or that. No, you get those things done and then you get to unwind.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you have these things that you're like, I need to do this or that within this week. And you get them all done within 3 days. You have 4 days to unwind. Technically.
Right.
Technically. But you have to do those things first.
So find prevalent things worth doing that'll get you ahead of the game.
It's a structured thing. Right. So you just have to be like, I need to do these things for sure. And then I get to unwind. Like, for example, let's say you're like, well, I work Monday through Friday. And then you're like, well, those days are for work. And my 2 days off, I will actually unwind those days. Mm-hmm. So maybe those days you don't work. But the other days you put in the work that's necessary.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But you have to set a structure that allows you to do those things.
Okay.
So you can be like, Because then you're gonna put stuff off, like always.
Yeah.
You know, but you're like, I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. But then you have to be like, but that doesn't help me unwind because then that's in the head. But you're like, I didn't do that. I should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily help
exactly.
You. It's
like
just
skipping a fucking day and then having to hit the gym twice.
It's just detrimental. That's just not good.
No.
But then, like the Paul Conti just puts that as you need the generative drive to be stronger than your aggressive and your pleasure drive. But you're like, you wanna do good for yourself. And you're like, I just, for the sake of doing good for yourself. And then eventually when you do that, you do good for others.
You know what's fucked?
What?
In a weird way. It's kind of like a boy's answer, but kind of gay. Well, not gay, but like kind of fucking wild at the same time. Waiting to meet the right woman.
So you're seeking...
I'm seeking something hard to work for.
Right.
But see, I'm not even in a position to where...
You're doing it backwards, though.
Yeah.
You're doing it backwards where you're like, when I have her, then maybe I'll
start. Right. I need to do that. I mean, it's not that I'm not doing it now because I have my own roof, have my own car, full-time job, good amount of funds set aside, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing bad.
Right.
I could be doing better.
Right. It's just the better aspect. You have to just keep doing it slightly better.
Yeah, and that's what I'm not necessarily waiting for, but that's one of the main goals.
Because obviously that's motivating.
It is, but it's also in my mind to live life currently right now. Like, don't get so caught up in fucking chasing the flowers in the middle down the path. What you have to do that you forget that the fucking flowers are growing right next to you and you got to smell those bitches, you know?
Right.
So I'm trying to enjoy my youth while it's here, while still trying to work at what I still need to do, which is make money and get fit.
Like, it almost seems like you have to be scared into it.
What do you mean?
Get in the situation, like, handled. Because let's say, let me put it like this, right?
You need pressure into that situation.
Yes.
Yeah,
like let's say you do find the girl that you're truly like, she's the one.
Gotcha.
And then she's like, you're not enough. Right now, you're not enough.
Hell yeah. I would love to hear that because then I'd be like, all right.
But then she leaves you.
Then I'd be like, fuck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you're like, why didn't I do the things that I should have done to have kept this woman here?
Yeah, that sucks. But I would look at myself, back at myself and be like, all right, what am I missing? What am I lacking?
All of a sudden, you have to do that.
So why does it take a woman?
Exactly. How about just do it first so that the woman, when she arrives... you don't fucking lose her.
Let's see, your woman is your purpose, so you need to find a purpose greater than that, which would be your own stability.
Your actual purpose. Yeah. Your actual purpose.
Which in mine is capability. I want to be capable. I want to be able to do shit.
Here you go. Okay.
So what? Do I need to look at a fucking picture of myself at a future version of myself where I want to be?
You gotta love that person. You gotta be like, I'm doing it for that guy. That guy deserves it. Like that.
I'm gonna draw that for someday, or we could do some
it's
AI. We could generate an AI or some shit with a picture. Give it like this is like the face, but like
I'm doing it for that guy.
Yeah, do it for a future version with good physique, well dressed.
Like here is like, how do you find your purpose? You must feel what your reaction is to all the possibilities that they're there for you.
One more time.
You have to feel the reaction to all possibilities that you think are actually there.
That's
like
taxing.
Relevant. It's something you have to do. This is a thing you have to do.
Right.
It's like saying, I want to go to school to do this, but that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Irrelevant. Do you actually want to go to school to do those things?
Not
yes,
really.
then you do it.
Yeah.
Simple. Okay, simple. But then you got to find what resonates you. And here, your purpose is what the world needs. Okay? Okay, let's start one. What you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Second, what the world needs. Okay? Third, what pays money. And that's when you find those three things, and then you have to do that last part, which is what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And those four things will get you to your purpose. So you got to find what you want to do. First things first, be like, what are you willing to do? You know? And then you'll find what you're good at, and then you'll find what the world needs, and then you'll do what pays money. But it has to meet those four categories.
Yeah.
You can't just do what you want, because what if it doesn't make money? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just do what you're good at, because what if it doesn't make money?
What if it makes money, but it doesn't make you happy?
That's a problem too. So you gotta meet somewhere. It has to meet for all the 4 categories to be truly your purpose.
Gotcha.
Because if it doesn't meet that, you're like sacrificing happiness for something else. And then you're like, I need to sacrifice this for that. No. But there's the thing where you can meet in the middle and you're like, this meets the whole criteria. But then it takes some thinking. Yeah. Which a lot of people don't want to do. Because they're, as you say, you're like, I'm doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's these things you do once, then it's fixed. And then you just work towards it. But you got to find that thing. But it's mainly about doing that introspective work where you're like, okay, what is that thing? Like, what do I want to do? What am I good at? What does the world need? And what makes money? And then you just do that. But a lot of people are not going to think that.
That's pretty good.
I was like...
The only thing that I can think of is like handyman, carpentry, builder, fucking... Just, a generator, like how you say. Just like a doer,
Well, generative...
It could be military. I could go to the fucking military.
I've considered that. I've considered that.
I don't know what the fuck my purpose is.
Like, if you truly have no set structure and you don't know, then that would maybe do it.
The reason why, one, I don't want to be a pocket or a pawn to the government, and two, I don't want to, like, be disposable, be shipped out and fucking...
Well, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. It's not because they need you. It's because you need it. It's different.
Yeah, you need the training. You definitely need the training.
It's mainly about that. Like, if you're going into the military and you're scared you're gonna be used as a pawn, that's not the problem. The problem is that you went in there because you thought you needed this.
Right.
That's why you went. It's not about them at that point. But you are gonna have to follow rules.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is because you needed the structure in the first place. If you didn't need the structure, then you would have made your own rules and followed those.
Yeah.
But then you are like, this is hard. But then you just have to do it still, though.
Yeah.
Somebody has to put some rules. And then when you follow the rules enough, you get the hang of it. And then you just do things.
Yeah, you do things that you know you can do.
Right. But you got to find the things that you can do first, like your interests and stuff like that. And it's hard, yes, but you still have to do it. Like the stuff that you're willing to do. Sometimes you just have to focus on money. You're like, okay, I'll do whatever job I need to do to get this money, and then after I get this money, I'll invest it, and after I invest it, I'm good. And then you just keep doing that. But it's a plan. The plan is a problem because if you don't have a plan, you're kind of just scattered.
Leaf, waiting for life to blow you.
Right, which is a problem. But then that's like how he was saying, like you have to hit all the branches going down. When they were talking about it in the podcast, he's like, but you don't have to hit the branches. You could literally slowly have taken a rope down without having to need these branches to hit you all the way down. But some people need that. And it's a decision you're making. You don't need it, but you're deciding that this is the thing that it's like, you're like, it needs to be that bad.
Right.
But it's like, it doesn't. But you're telling yourself so. So therefore, it is. You know? Yeah. So that's a thing. But then you have to decide, is that even reasonable? Is that even does that even really make sense?
Not really.
It's like with a girl where you're like, I just need the motivating aspect of having a woman where I'm doing this for her. But then you still have to do it for yourself.
No.
Because then the woman will stay, for the most part.
Yeah.
It's that you can't just do stuff for her. Because then, what are you doing for yourself in the first place?
Yeah.
Do you only want to do stuff for others?
I guess.
It's a problem. You should be doing good stuff for yourself because you care about yourself in the first place. And then do stuff for others too because you care about them. It's the aspect when you're like, I care about me, and somebody's like, take care of you so I don't have to.
Right. Yeah, I understand all that.
It's that. But it's the doing aspect that we have a problem with, right? It's the let's plan this out and get this done aspect. So that you don't have to fall to the bottom and then be like, well, this fucking sucks.
You said something that hella fucking triggered me, which was amazing. It was something about helping yourself. Like, why do I feel the need to help others? Like, that was a really good question. And I kind of asked myself, like, why? And that stems from fucking childhood, bro. Like, that rings a bell, too. Like, why am I in such a position to always want to help people?
Right. Why don't you help yourself first?
That's wild.
That's a real question. Like, you should help yourself first. Take care of that guy. That guy needs it more than the other people needs it first. And then when you get that done...
This is why I need a father. I never got told these things as a kid.
I'm like, when you get that done, naturally you're going to help others.
I appreciate it,
because you have the work.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like you have to do the work inside. And then you're like, okay, I'm good. Now let's help these other people.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm like, I gotta make it so I can fucking take care of my mom's. My mom's is good right now, but I'm like, I'm only just
better.
You're like, I need to be like all the way above.
Right,
shit,
right. So you gotta set a plan. It's mainly that. Like, you legit have to sit down and be like, this is what I'm gonna do.
I need to. This is what I need to do now.
Right, right.
Like, I thought I was done. I really gotta stop fucking around and do it.
It's like that aspect where you're like, I thought I was done. The thing is, you're never done.
Well, I thought I was done smoking weed. Like, I thought I was gonna reach to the point where I thought I was gonna be done with this, and like,
nah, that I'm telling you, it's a self-care thing where you're like, nah, I'm doing it because I care about my health.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Like, the better version of me is not smoking. Yeah, you have to put it like that, because that's how you're convincing yourself. Because you're like, am I really?
That's a good thing to start. That's a good place to. That's a good place to pick at for sure.
Like, let me put it like, if I frame it like this, you're gonna be like, well, that's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Because how long have you smoked?
12 plus years.
And do you not? How can you really say I've changed when you haven't changed that one habit? Because you think it's so hard to change.
I guess moderation is the only thing I've changed. It's grown and
it's
gotten worse. It's gotten better, but the habit's still there.
The habit's still there.
Yep.
And it's just a bad habit that could be seen as bad, but you maybe convince yourself it's not.
No, I convince myself it's not. Like, I convince myself that it's worth more than it hurts.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It gets rid of more stress for me than it causes.
But does it?
A little bit.
But
a little bit right now, no, because it's what's holding me back and keeping me at a low level. Like, once I break that.
Because when you tell yourself, I'm going to stop, and you don't, that shows you that you're incapable of stopping. Isn't that not good?
Yes.
Because if you could stop and be like, I did that, isn't that better?
Well, I never really tried.
Exactly. You did try, but it didn't work out. That's what
I didn't
happened.
give it my all, bro.
Exactly. That's what trying is like. But you're like, I tried. Well, that's not what doing it is.
Right.
It's like I almost stopped.
Right. It's like, why are you keeping count?
That doesn't count.
Why are you keeping count? Why are you keeping track of? It's like I counted stopped for this many days. It's like, stop counting. It's like, if you're gonna stop, then why are you keeping track of the days? It's like.
But it's a reasonable thing. You have to be like, is this a reasonable thing to do?
It's a dependency thing too.
Well, it's definitely you're dependent on it.
Fucking most definitely. I think I'm chemically dependent on this fucking point.
At this point,
I gotta fucking break that.
At this point, probably.
It's part of my DNA now. There's THC crystals in my
12 years is crazy.
DNA.
12 years is crazy.
12 years is
with
crazy.
Like no stopping.
Yeah.
That's just. Like,
it's pretty bad.
Imagine if you were an alcoholic and said, hey, 12 years, I tried to stop, but I couldn't. That sounds horrible.
Hey, but man, look at me. Look at the shape I'm in. Like, I'm pretty fucking good for 12 years smoking weed. Like, it's not the best thing. It's not something I should boast about. But, exactly.
But
shout out marijuana over fucking alcohol.
Well, we're picking the worst. Out of the two evils.
The lesser of the two evils. Hands down,
you're still doing that thing, though.
But it makes you a loser, unfortunately. It really does. Like,
it's dependent.
Like, even Nipsey had to stop smoking weed every now and again, bro. And Nipsey's reason for stopping was he's just, man, I have a lot more responsibilities and I need to be a lot more focused. I need clarity. Like, really smoking weed, just like, it's cool and all, but like sometimes it fogs me up. I don't wake up a lot. I'm lazy. Like, I'm not as productive. And he needs to be laser focused. And it's like, fuck.
Like, for me, I stop and I do it every once in a while, but I know that I can stop.
Yeah.
So that isn't a problem.
For me, I really, 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 it's like lust is a big issue for me, bro.
Lust is a big issue for everybody.
Because
it's not a you thing. This is why it's this is why it's one of the 7 sins.
Yeah, well, 7 deadly sins. Right. That's a deadly sin, bro. Fuck.
It's just like envy, just like gluttony. All those sins are based off high pleasure drives.
Pretty much.
Or aggression. Or aggression.
Both. I go to the gym, but sometimes it makes it like not worse, but sometimes it amplifies my fucking sex drive, bro. Going to the gym and shit, and I'm just like, fuck, I need, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's how
you're just
a lot of
pent
people
up,
are.
You know,
a lot, even me, but I don't express it.
Right.
I'm just like, that's just in there.
You know,
it's just a thing that's in there. It's a thing that's in there. You can't help it. You can't help it.
Right.
But you can't just do stuff for that sheer reason that you're seeking pleasure. Because that's detrimental.
It makes you impulsive.
And it's detrimental.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing generative coming out of that, unless you utilize it in a way that I'm gonna do so good that I can have the option to just do stuff like that whenever I want, instead of like I'm just seeking that and not working on myself.
It's a distraction instead of like an ultimate goal, to where it's ultimate, like you can conquer that instead of waiting to just pass by, essentially.
Right. Because the lust aspect is like, I just want to fuck.
Pretty much, but if like, say if you got a fucking loyal woman fucking waking up every morning in your bed, you know, like that's that thing that I would like to fucking work harder for, you know. It's like,
but you need the generative drive to be higher than the pleasure drive for you to do that.
Right.
Because then you're doing it for the future woman that you want to be with.
I guess that's true.
And then you're doing it for yourself. Hey,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
And technically you're doing that for yourself because this self needs to work on that.
That's a good one. Do it for the future woman you want to be with. Because I mean,
that's how I see it. I'm literally betting
my whole phase.
To do that.
Right. I'm sorry.
You're sure. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm in my fucking current whole phase right now. For men, when we get to a certain age, when we hit a certain physique and age,
you
right?
Get attention and
age,
stuff.
like why?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot. Your age, you start garnering attention the older you get and the more competent you get, versus the latter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm enjoying this. I'm not trying to be, you know, a whore. Like I'm not trying to be a person with ill intentions. I'm just trying to fucking utilize my youth. I want to be able to say, like, not throwing too many bodies, you know, or, you know, getting too many bodies, horrible as that sounds. I'm just trying to, like, you know, just put my youth to good use, you know, meet some people,
that's
fuck hella people, you know, it's like,
that's
not fuck
unnecessary.
Hella people,
that's unnecessary.
Like,
and you shouldn't just do it for the sake of doing that. It should happen for other reasons.
Right.
Like, it should be like, I'm so competent and I have the money right and I have, like, that my body's good,
right?
And then you can naturally that happens, but you shouldn't just do that for the sake of getting that done. That's where the lust aspect becomes the sin aspect.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You're doing it for the wrong reasons.
It's like that things are going to happen if you're doing good naturally,
right?
Like if you're not a fat fuck, you're not broke,
right?
And then
take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
And naturally, this is what happened. The girls are going to come at you and be like, hey, what's up? And you're going to be like, hey, I'm down. Boom, boom, boom. Right. Naturally. But if you're just doing it for the sake of getting it done, that's detrimental. Because there's no improvement. You're like, everything wait. Everything has to wait now.
Right.
Let me get this 10 bodies because 10 bodies is cool.
Amazing.
You know? Right? Like, that's not necessarily good.
It's not.
But the thing you have to do is like, oh, you want to be at that point where you can, that's cool. And then, but doing it for the sake to get that done is not necessarily a good thing. The thing that if it does happen, it does happen. But just, if you're doing it for the sake of just, I need to rack off more bodies. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
You just get in a state of hunger, and that's what you think you want. But for me, every man wants a queen to make him a king. You know, every man wants that type shit. I'm impatient. Impatient as fuck.
That's the thing you say.
And societal fucking societal programming literally wants you to just fuck everybody.
So society gives you so many excuses to do a lot of bullshit.
A lot of degeneracy.
It's like when
like
you
trying to walk that
you
fine
send me a
line,
video. You send me a video of the Matrix bullshit.
Yeah.
Where it was a red circle and a blue circle.
That was fucking awesome.
And you're like, which one's bigger? And I was like, they look the same?
Yeah.
Is this a trick question?
Right.
And then you probably answered which one's bigger.
I picked, yeah.
And you probably picked one.
I picked, yeah, most definitely.
The thing is, you're letting them dictate that for you. Even though you know that's not necessarily what's going on.
Right.
But you are like, I'll go for that. Why not? So you gotta like figure it out. Because then if you're not thinking
you're not thinking for yourself. That's what you mean by figure it out.
Yes, that's that thing you have to do. Is this good for me? Is this actually good for me, or does it just feel good? There's a difference. There's a difference there. I could eat things that make me feel good.
Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't mean they're good for me. Is that not true?
It is true, but we neglect it. We don't give a fuck. We just want what we think is good for us at that point in time based off of our emotions.
No,
and that's
we don't do what think is good for us. We do what feels good.
Yes. Well, that's why based off what we think. And then I was like, God, well, not to quote the Bible, not religious, but the Bible does say, lean not on your emotions, lean on me, because your emotions fucking waver, and I am like fucking a pillar type shit. So it's like, that's cool. And that's fucking true as shit, too. Because your emotions fucking... get pissed off unless you're fucking truly stoic, nothing bothers you. But
that's not how it works.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
it's
even
not,
then.
It's not that I'm unbothered in my mind. I just don't show you I'm bothered.
Which is nuts.
Because there's no point. I'm like, what's the point of me telling you, hey, that sucks? But that's a me thing. That's not, even that could be a problem. Just like how we watched the same episode today. With Huberman and Coleman Ruiz. Yeah. And he's like, that was fun and all until it wasn't. Right. Where he's like, I needed help and I couldn't ask for help. Yeah. Even that's detrimental at one point. And this is something that you have to learn. But you don't want to have to learn it when you're at the point of suicide. Like, yeah. That's not good.
That's really not good.
So you want to learn that when it's less extreme. Because he was calling out people when he was considering it. Yeah. But at least he had the discipline to be like, let me consider it. Yeah. Not just fucking do it.
That's funny as shit.
And then he was calling people to be like, is this the right thing? He was outsourcing his like rationale. Because he knew he wasn't making sense upstairs. He was like, and let's talk to somebody that does make sense. Right. Like his friends and stuff like that.
And that's why therapy is kind of good for you.
Yeah, because the talk therapy specifically, because this is what happens, like what I'm telling you right now. They're just talking to you and they're like, does that make sense? I'm not telling you it doesn't, and I'm not telling you it does. I'm asking you to make sense of it. And if it doesn't, then why are you doing it? And then you just keep asking. But if it comes from the sense that you're wrong and I'm right, nobody's winning.
Yeah. So then you just feel judged.
Yeah, it's a genuine question thing. Like you have to be like, is that actually like what's going on?
Yeah, that's wild. Wild.
Because even like the way they put it, where he was considering committing suicide, and then he called up his friend and he's like, if you do it, you prove to everybody you were fraud. And I was like, that is just facts. That is just fact. And then he was like, all right, I can't. Damn. Because he's like, that's not who I am. I'm not a fucking fraud. Yeah. So then it's just perspective at that point. But then he had to like outsource his rationale because he wasn't doing it right. Because of the PTSD, the depression. It all hit him at once. But it's mainly because he didn't know how to ask for help. Right. That was the detrimental part there. Because he was the guy like super masculine. Yeah. I get shit done.
He was the guy.
I don't ask for help. It's like, I keep it in and I just do it. Yeah. And that's the stoic thing that you talk about. Yes. It's like that you've seen me and I'm like, that's not necessarily a good thing all the time.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
But it's good sometimes.
It's good to an expressive person such as myself who needs to work on being more reserved.
Right. But that's just, it's because it's overexpressive. Right. Like when you're like, I don't even know how you would label that. I don't know if that's the good or bad. It could be detrimental sometimes, sure. But it's the same thing as when I'm too stoic and I don't express myself. Sure. They're both detriment, so it's somewhere in the middle. You have to be able to express yourself rationally, like within reason. It's mainly that. Because if you don't, then that's a problem.
Wild.
It's a little problem.
There's a lot of things a boy doesn't like. Responsibility. He feels uncomfortable, but you gotta fucking do it, you know?
Right.
Do it. What do you want more?
Because you want people to keep you accountable. But, like, the problem is that nobody's gonna do that. That thing is, you should be doing that for yourself. And it's cool when other people do it. That's fine. Yeah. But you shouldn't be depending on other people keeping you accountable.
I just can't. Like, sometimes I just fucking can't. I'm just not. Is that lack of maturity? Is that a lack of self-control thing?
It's a lack of generative drive. You don't necessarily want to do better for yourself.
That's wild.
It's like taking care. It's like taking care of yourself. Like, I need to do this for me situation.
Okay, so there's another thing too. That's another thing. Okay. That mixed in, remember I told you earlier that shit hit me hard. Why do I help people? Or why do I feel like I need to help people? That correlates with like the self-care aspect, which you talk about too. There was a point, and this stems from the fucking trailer part too. There was a point where just get it done by any means. And you didn't give a fuck about your body. You didn't give a fuck about, the sleep you lost. You didn't give a fuck about your hands if they got fucked up.
Sure, yeah.
I'm too used to that. So I'm used to abusing my body.
Those are tendencies.
You know what I'm saying? I'm very used to that.
It's not a you thing. It's a societal thing.
Right.
We're stuck in that aspect right now. Like, this is why everybody's vaping. Mm-hmm. This is why everybody's drinking alcohol. This is why everybody drinks soda. This is why everybody looks like shit half the time.
It's because we're so used to,
Is because you're willing to give yourself up for the things that you're out here doing. But they have to be worth that. Like, maybe do that for your kids. That's fine. Like,
sure.
That's worth it, But if you're just doing it because it's a tendency, and this is just what we tend to do, you have to, like, change those because that...
It won't serve you.
Half the time, you have to take care of yourself because that's how you get better. Because if you don't do that, it's a problem.
Yeah, and it always takes like an injury or a disease or some shit for you to fuck, I shouldn't have done that. Start
considering the fact that, damn, I should have done that.
Right.
But then you just have to do that. But some people have to meet extremes. So a lot of times that happens.
Be more careful, be more aware. But see, that's not me, man. I'm so used to even at work, I don't give a fuck like how my body hurts. I will run it down. I guess essentially that's why I'm always telling you, like, why, that not only that, but the energy expenditure is different, right?
Sure.
It's like I'm assigned things and I do things with such intensity that it's like, get it fast, get it done, and sometimes that'll lead to stress on the bones, stress on the muscle, ache over time. Shit like that, and I'm so used to doing that to just get the quickness of the job done, so I could just, like I say, just fucking chill for a little bit, Right. I'm so used to putting my body through it that I don't think, and I don't like pretty much take consideration of time to prepare for that. Like I don't consider, this is gonna fuck up my legs. Maybe I should do it like this, or I'm just fucking, I just do it, So that's something I can work on. That's something that's like, all right, you're being a little too destructive, like bodily harm-wise. Let's pay more attention to your body. It's
mainly you're being unreasonably destructive.
Well, because
it has to be within reason,
right? Because how Mexicans, they put their fucking they'll sit in the sun, burn their skin,
half the time
type
they do
shit.
That for their kids.
Right. It's because there's no other. I'm so used to doing that in survival mode shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to dial up out of survival mode like thinking to where you have to literally means to an end no matter what.
At that point, though, they're cutting years of their life to get that done.
Right.
Like they're cutting like around 10 to 20 years of their life from the damage that in general is being caused in their body.
Yeah.
But then half the time they're drinking and they're smoking too.
That's true.
So that's just a problematic thing we all encounter.
Right.
Like even myself when I was vaping. It's just like, I was doing it, feels good. Is it good for me? No.
Right.
Oh, so I should stop.
You really don't have much problems to escape from, though. A lot of people have hella problems.
Solved problems.
Solve problems that you've...
I was unhealthy.
Okay.
And dealt with it. I was like,
introversion. Okay. You made more friends. There's another one.
I was avoidant. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's not good.
Right.
Let's fix that a little bit. It's just work. But then you do the work, and then it becomes part of yourself.
Right.
And then, boom, you start naturally wanting to do better. And then when you're in a position to help, you help. But when you're not, then you have to help yourself first. That's why even in in the airplanes, they're like, you need to put your face mask first, because if you pass out and your kid can't do it, he's dead. Who's gonna take care of the kid if you're fucking dead?
It's better for you to pass out and not feel your death anyway, but it's all right.
But I'm like, it's not about you at that point. It's about the kid. You know what I'm saying? Because if your kid is like, that's funny. Shit, the fucking mom passed out, and how am I supposed to grab the mask? I don't even know what to do, to be honest. Now they're both dead. You know what I'm saying?
Now we're all dead. That's
not
bad.
Good. Not good.
Don't do that.
So it's mainly you have to take care of yourself first to be in a position to take care of others. Without detriment to yourself.
So I need to be a little bit more selfish, less of a people pleaser, less selfless. I mean, selfless in a bad sense.
Reasonably self. That's
reasonably selfish.
Half the time, it's unhealthy when you're being unreasonable.
Right.
You have to be reasonable. That's what mainly, like Paul Conti, he was saying, half the time, if you're high pleasure drive or high pleasure drive, you're doing unreasonable stuff.
High pleasure, or high pleasure, high generative?
High aggressive drive and high pleasure. Okay. I said pleasure.
You said pleasure.
So high aggressive and high pleasure.
Right.
You're doing unreasonable things. Like if you're being assertive, too assertive is when you're being unreasonably assertive.
Right.
Unreasonably aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this like,
did
I need to be that aggressive?
Right.
But half the time it's a tendency you have. So then you have to tone that down if you're being too aggressive. And then if you're like, let's say you're like, I wanna rack up 10 bodies.
Hell yeah.
Is that reasonable?
No.
Like, think about it. It's more reasonable than 100. Sure.
Sounds fun, but it's not reasonable.
The fun aspect is because it's a pleasure drive.
Yeah.
You're like, I'd rather just have fun.
Pretty much.
But it's not necessarily about just pleasure, right? It's about doing better. Because that having fun part is where people end up vaping because it's fun, smoking weed all day because it's fun, drinking all the time because it's fun, and having sex with anybody because it's fun. If everybody was doing that, society wouldn't have never been built.
Yeah.
So it's a perspective thing. It's a perspective thing. Because I'm not telling you I'm perfect. But I'm telling you, I'm just considering stuff like that.
No, yeah. You have the bigger picture in mind. I'm living more in the moment.
I'm not telling you that I haven't fallen into lust or fallen into this pleasure.
Just do a better fucking job of it.
I just don't do it as often. I just don't do it as often. Because then I'm like, this is not good for me.
Right.
So
you care more about yourself than you do them, essentially.
Well, if they cared about me and they cared about themselves, that would have helped. But if you're like with somebody that doesn't care about themselves and they're fully just for the pleasure, I just want to have fun, but you're drinking every day. That's not good for you.
That's not.
That's what I mean.
Sure, that's a little too toxic.
Like, let's say you go out drinking every weekend and it's just one night. That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Every weekend drinking one night?
That's reasonable. Depending on how fucked up you get, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you get so fucked up, the next 3 days are miserable.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's just like, why did you do that? That's not reasonable, sir.
You don't need to do that. For sure.
So it's all about being reasonable.
So it's moderation, reasonable moderation too?
Like, yes, you can rack up 10 bodies, but not in a day, because that's hoe stuff.
That's hoe status, nah.
Like, are you sure that was good for you?
Probably not.
And then half the time, it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
Like, if you rack up 10 bodies within 5 years because you were trying to find the right woman and you are like, this is not the one.
No.
So I'm like, you drop her and you're like, okay. And then go to the next one. You're like, all right, this might be the one.
Right.
And then no again. Okay, on to the next one.
Yeah.
That's reasonable because you are doing it with a purpose of finding the right woman. But if you're just doing it to rack up bodies. That's a little ridiculous to me. That's just ridiculous. But it's the reasonable aspect.
No.
You just have to be reasonable. It's the tendencies. You have tendencies that are unreasonable because you build habits throughout your life.
Bad habits.
It could be bad habits. Obviously, good habits are not a problem. Bad habits are a problem.
No.
So yes, bad habits. And like the way I was thinking about it earlier, I was like, healthy people don't have a need to be introspective because they're healthy. They are just healthy. Why would they have to be like, why am I so healthy? This is crazy.
Yeah, how could I be healthier type shit?
Yeah, they're doing it. They're being healthier every day because they're healthy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to consider like, why am I so healthy? You know, but to the person that's not healthy, they have to work on themselves to get to that point because they've built this unhealthy stuff in them. And that takes work, which is a problem for some people.
Effort. Yep.
But then people like Goggins, they're like, dude, you just have to do it, and that thing just builds up. And then like when you watch the episode with like Huberman and stuff, and he's like, literally, there's a part of your brain that when you deal with hard shit and you keep doing it, it grows. And stuff that's hard gets easier to do.
But it shrinks too. So if you don't do enough of the hard shit,
it atrophies as well. So if you stop doing hard stuff, everything starts getting hard. So he's like, just do hard shit for that sheer reason. And make sure the hard stuff is worth it, obviously. Right. Like, it can be hard stuff that is detrimental.
Legs, bro. Fucking legs.
Anything.
Every time for me, it's legs, bro.
For me, I'm like, that's just normal day.
Yeah, because you got fucking tree trunks down there, dog. I got a work in progress. Damn, ow, even that hurt.
But it's mainly about that. When you're like, that's hard. Yeah. Well, duh. That's how you go. Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
But that's what I got to say, John. Okay, that's what's in my head. I'm doing this to myself, like what I just told you.
It's pretty great.
I'm doing that to me.
But you're doing a good job, man. You quit fucking smoking, man. You quit smoking. You do more cardio. Fucking, you blasted the fucking videos and shit. It's like you just have more focus. You have more. You want it more.
I'm cultivating my generative drive. That's what I'm doing. Because I know that my aggressive drive is not. It's not low enough where I'm like, no, not good. And I'm not gonna just deal with bullshit. I know that's not gonna happen. Half the time I am gonna call somebody out on their bullshit because I don't want to deal with it in the first place.
As you should.
And I also know that my pleasure drive is not too high or too low where I'm like, nothing feels good. Yeah. That's when it's too low. You're like, literally nothing is satisfying. And then when it's too high, it's just you seek it just for the sheer of pleasure. You know, but there's a balance in the middle where you reasonably do stuff that's fun. You know, that's fine. But when it's too high or too low, that's a problem.
Fuck.
So you gotta ask, am I being reasonable?
Do I want to fuck just because I want to fuck? Do I really want to fuck? Damn.
Like, do I want to fuck or do I want to find a girl that I like? I happen to be able to have sex.
Sometimes I just want to fuck, bro. Like that.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily.
Fucked? That's a little fucked. The tiniest.
No, that's a normal human thing. That's a very.
Does that make me a piece of shit?
Definitely not. Definitely not. If not, we'll all be pieces of shit, to be completely frank.
Fuck.
It's a natural human drive.
It'd be like that.
But you can't just do that to do that.
Right. There's consequences, and there's also, you know, it's just it's intentions that matter. You know, you doing it for fun, or you doing it to say you did it, or you actually doing it for a purpose. I'm reluctant to talk about all these things because these are all problems in my life that I know I could be doing to fix them.
It's not a you problem; it's a human problem. You're thinking it's just you. It's
not just me.
It would suck if it was just you.
It's not just me.
But if you actually brought this up to people and you talked about it to people, you'll realize it's a everybody problem, not just a you problem. So,
what makes me so special, dog?
I'm just saying.
Shit.
I'm just saying because you think it's happening to you, but it's happening to everybody.
Not only is it happening to me, it's happening to everybody. You know? Yes. So it is happening, but it's like. Could also happen to them, you know.
It is. Maybe they already worked through it where they don't have that sucks.
Yeah.
You know? But it's dependent on that. Everybody has those drives. But some people are not noticing them. Some people don't even care. enough to notice them.
Yeah.
At least you're not there.
Yeah, you're just living on autopilot.
At least you're not there.
You're a real leaf in the wind there, buddy.
That's like the beginning stage when we're talking about the first stage of the competence. Yeah. That's unconscious incompetence. Mm-hmm. Imagine being there for the rest of your life. That sucks.
That's a good life, but that's the life of an idiot type shit. Like the life of a fool. You know, the dude is just
it's not even like a choice at that point. No. You're just there. No. And you're like, this is how it is. No. You're not like, damn, I should probably change that. No. Like you're not aware of your incompetence, which is a problem. It's a problem, but you haven't. Incompetence. But it's the introspective aspect. That's how that gets activated. Where you're like, I don't like that I do stuff like that. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna change that.
Facts.
And then it takes effort to change it, and then eventually it becomes a part of you.
Becomes a habit. Yep.
And you're fine. And
you have evolved.
Literally, you have adapted. Which is pretty nice. That's pretty cool. Nice. It's like when you run and you just keep running, and then all of a sudden running's easy.
Yeah. Like, fuck. That's crazy. That's just hard, dog. I did 30, 20, 10.
Right.
Crazy.
I'm like, that was easy.
That was hard enough.
Like, that took no mental effort for me.
Really?
It was just the physical aspect. And barely then.
Hey, man, I was like, fuck, this 30 minutes is fucking long. Then on the treadmill, or on the fucking Stairmaster, I was looking at this, I'm like, 5 more minutes, bro. Because I was going to stop at 15, I'm like, nah, you got 5 more minutes in you. You could do it. And then I was like, push to 30, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do 30. Right. So I just did 20, and then I hopped off and did the bicycle. I was like, yeah.
I was like, this is easy enough. But it has to be, is it worth it? You have to make it worth it. For me, it's worth it because I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
For I'm like, the point is to lose weight, right? And then I'm like, yes. Yeah. So the more calories I burn, the better. Yes. Yeah. So I just do it.
I'm just too self-conscious about everything. Like, am I making too much noise? Do I smell bad? Is my shirt? Do I look funny with my shirt? I'm like, I gotta get over that. I really do. That's a security thing.
It is, yeah. I'm like, I don't.
Type shit.
I'm here to lose the calories, and as long as I get those calories lost,
for real,
I'm good. That's it. So it's worth it.
We did decent work today. We did.
Whole hour. I was gonna stop at 45, but you said 1 hour, and I was like, sure.
For real? Well, you said an hour.
I didn't say
you
anything.
said an hour of cardio.
I said we're gonna do. You
said 1 hour cardio. Fuck it, and I'm like, let's go. You said
I guess
that.
You took it as that.
You said that, bro.
Because I thought we were gonna do shoulders, but then you said nah.
Yeah, well, an hour of cardio first, and then like we'll see if we'll do shoulders. And I'm like, and then I asked you. I could have done shoulders. You're like, we'll see. Oh, you asked me, and I didn't want to because I fucking.
I was like, I'm fine. I feel great after that.
I really should have, bro. My right delt is ridiculously less fucking strong than my fucking left, bro. It's ridiculous how much the fucking imbalance is. It's visible. I'm like, damn.
Like, even on the podcast today, the guy was like, when I'm running, I feel like everything's good.
Yeah.
And that's literally how it feels. He's like, he's not trying to hype up the runner's high. He's like, I'm not trying to hype it up. Right. But I'm saying that when I'm running, everything feels like everything's fine. And I was like, it really does. It really fucking does. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You get to a certain point after that.
I'm like, I could have done that for another hour technically because it felt that good.
I guess I could have kept walking, but lower.
Well, the way I do it, I'm loving it.
Yeah, because you run every now and again, which is cool. Yeah,
I'm like, that just works for me.
I would want to just jog the entire time, but I don't because I'm lame.
Right. I just do what works for me. Yeah. I'm like, that just works.
Bro, I like doing that, the incline, heavy walking, the pace and time, because sometimes you'll go fast and you'll slow down. Me, I'm staying the same pace the entire time, and I'll burn like maybe 50 to 30 calories less than you.
Right.
Which is not that bad if you think about it.
It's not, but I'm just doing what works for me. Wow. Like, I'm not considering the way you're doing it. I'm just like, this works for me. Yeah. I'm like, if I want to burn as many calories as I want to, this just works. Yeah. Like, I could just keep doing it.
I want to burn all the calories but not fuck up all the joints and shit from running. So I'm like,
my knees don't hurt.
Mine do.
My ankles don't hurt.
I guess I should probably stop lifting so heavy when it comes to leg extension and just kind of do it lighter because the weight on my tendons.
Yeah.
Will hurt.
Because I have zero pain when I'm running. Yeah. Zero pain on my ankles, no pain. Obviously, when I started running, I did have pain. I even pulled the hamstring muscle.
Yeah.
but it all went away, and now I'm good.
Because I
found a little groove.
You stayed consistent for sure, bro.
That just became easier the more I did it.
It's like 3 months of just running.
It just got so easy after like a month and a half. I was like, this is actually It
hasn't been 3 months
easy.
yet?
Well, yeah, it started at the beginning of the year.
I was going to say, because you I remember one month right now. Yeah, because there was 1 month you thought you were going to do it. There was 1 month you actually did it, but then you're like, did you do the full 100?
No, I never did full 100.
Have you done it at all?
No, I never did the full 100. Yeah. I did 50. I did 50.
What was the most you did?
Like consistently?
Yeah, like I think weren't you like in the third week of your month?
Within the month, I probably did maybe almost 90.
Yeah, you were right there. You were right fucking there.
Yeah, but then I had to chill because my body was hurting.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's not good. Why do it when there's no reason?
Yeah.
And then I was like, now I'm gonna do it just to lose calories.
Yeah.
And then I found a little groove where I can just do the thing where I just go incline and then run every once in a while, then go incline, then once in a while. And I was like, this feels fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I could do this for the rest of my life type thing.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. But you gotta find what works for you.
It's not hard for me. It's just fucking. I got fat kid lungs and I have a weak mind. Plain and simple.
That's excuses, and you're telling yourself that, and that's not true.
You know what? You don't think so? I know I have fat kid lungs because I smoke so fucking much.
Hey, that's not fat kid lungs though. That's smoking lungs.
Okay,
and you know you should stop smoking. Yeah. You know you should stop smoking, but you just do it.
But I still do it. You know why?
Because even when I stopped smoking the nicotine, which was at the beginning of the year, basically, everything just felt better.
Yeah.
My lungs felt better and everything, and then I stopped smoking weed, obviously. And then my lungs they can just take it.
Yeah.
They can take it. And then the running, it obviously helps with the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's just
correcting itself.
Everything's great, John, for the moment.
Fuck. Everything sucks for me right now. Legit.
For the most part, I'm good. I just need to put more effort into making more money. That's what I have to do. Yeah. All my stress is just money stress.
Yeah.
Because my health is fine, my body's fine. That's all the habits are set up for me to just win, body wise and health wise. Unless that bullshit like cancer shows up, then I'm like, fuck.
72-hour fast.
Still be fucked probably, but that's stuff that I can't necessarily like cure or fix through better health. But that does help. So I'm doing the best that I can do for my body to do what needs to get done. So that's there. My mind is, I think my mind is okay.
Yeah, keep your mind sharp.
I don't have a lot of stress. I keep learning.
That. Yeah.
I play the guitar. I'm learning stuff all the time.
That's why your ass is fucking growing so much too, bro. Your cortisol levels are fucking low as shit. Your stress hormone is probably a lot fucking lower. That's just a thing for me to stop fucking stressing so gosh darn
for
much.
Me, it's just money. Dude, if all my efforts right now are going to go into making more money.
No.
And as soon as that's done, my stress is nowhere besides the girls.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I need to find the right girl.
Shorty,
I need to find the right girl.
Like shit.
Naturally.
Trying to wake up to a pretty face every morning. What the fuck?
Naturally, That's just what happens. But I'm like, for me, it's the money. Like, I'm like, when I get that, I'm good. And it depends how much money you need. Yeah. It's mainly a house.
Yeah.
But when you get a house, you're like, I'm good. But then you need the money to pay for the house.
Pretty much.
When you
paid off the house, you're good. But to be honest, you could be good in a fucking renting situation.
But if you have a good stable job that you could keep doing for a very long time, that makes a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Boom.
No, you're good.
That's it. You won. You won.
You don't need the big.
Everything else is just because you want to do it.
Yeah.
Not because you have to do it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's mainly the money. Like, if I could make money on the internet, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that easy. You still have to be of some type of value, putting out there some type of value.
Mm-hmm.
Which is hard, but learning stuff makes it easier. Because I'm like, people don't understand themselves.
Nope.
So if I understand people, I can help them. Therefore, value.
Nope.
And I'm like,
yay.
And it helps me because I get to understand myself. Fun times.
Sounds like a lot of mental work, but hey, man, you got this. You got that right now.
Well, for me, I've had it's not a thing I've been doing for the last 30 days. It's a thing I've been doing for the last fucking 8-9 years. So for me, the ball has been rolling mentally, like through understanding myself. That ball has been rolling forever. It feels like it's been forever. So I'm like, and then when I do, like, when I play the guitar, and I'm like, this was impossible a year ago. I couldn't do this. Yeah. And then I just do it, and I'm like, that's great. That's amazing. Amazing. And imagine that stuff is happening the more you do stuff. Like, mentally, that's what's going on with my head. Yeah. I'm
the
like,
more consistent, the better
stuff is just getting easy. Yeah. You know, while I'm running, stuff's just getting easy. Like, it just feels easier all of a sudden. Like, you just surprise yourself at that point. You're like, oh my God, this is actually easy. But it is a consistency. But
fuck, you've given me a lot to think about.
Shit, I'm thinking about all this.
It's like the politest pressure I've ever felt to not be an idiot. You know.
I mean, I could pressure you harder.
That's what I need. But I like how
I could do that for you.
I really like how.
But I would like you to do it for yourself.
And that's the greater thing that you're.
Like, I could totally be more assertive towards you and be like, nah, John. Yes. Tomorrow I need those 6 fucking videos. If not, we're not doing the podcast again.
Pretty much.
Like that. Like, I could pull shit like that. But I'm like, I would hope that you just do it for your own sake. Yeah. Instead of me having to be like, hey bro, you're gonna die if you don't do it.
Type shit. I'm gonna show up to your house and stab you in the face.
You know? Like, I don't necessarily want to do that. Yeah. But if it comes to a point where I have to, I will.
That's what it fucking takes. Sorry.
You know? But I'm like, I don't want to do that.
I know you don't, and I don't want to be that guy either. I don't want to do that. It's just, I gotta do better to manage my shit.
I'm like, I'm doing that to myself already. I don't have to be doing it to 2 people. Yeah. I'm like, I'm good. There's enough effort over here. Yeah. Even though I could do it to you. Yes, like, I'm well off mentally, physically, and financially, I'm all right. That I could enforce myself on you and be like, motherfucker, what the fuck? Right. You know? But I would hope that I don't have to do that.
If we become teammates later on in life type shit, you know, I would hope that I'm, you know, more capable now. Right. Because I'm not incapable.
You're fine.
I'm just a little shaky. Exactly.
Yeah, you're fine and you're working on it, which is good.
You know.
But then you have to do the things that you deem like that's hard.
Yeah. Like, you have to quitting smoking weed and fucking.
If you truly want to, even if you truly deem it as a detriment to yourself.
I don't right now, and that's the problem.
When you're like, oh, fat kid lungs, you say that a lot. Yeah. You say that a lot, but you know what's causing it.
Smoking.
So, don't, you know? You know, but you're like, but I like it. Like, if Goggins was here, bro,
you sound like a bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, you're a lazy fuck. You sound like a bitch. You gotta stop.
Do you know how many fucking times I've tried to fucking quit, bro? I've quit before the Lord and failed.
Well, you gotta do it for Jesus Christ, I guess.
I got
type situation.
I failed already, bro. Type shit.
Because even when I was smoking the vapes are fine for the most part, but it doesn't. Like, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Sure.
I know it's bad for me.
Yeah.
And it does feel good. I've said for a couple of times at the beginning when you just keep hitting it out of habit. And you start getting like the nicotine sickness.
Yeah. That's
not good. But then when literally your body adapts and you can hit the shit out of that shit and be fine. Mm-hmm. And then I stopped. I tried to stop. I was like, I'm going to stop. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't. So I went back to buy another one. Yeah. You know, and I was like, I'll stop next week. When this is done, I'll stop. Uh-huh. It happened probably like 6 times.
Damn. So what was the final one?
I just stopped. I just stopped. I was like, this is the time. This is the time. Just don't do it.
Yeah. How many battles did you like?
It was like
defeat?
6 or 7.
6 or 7 continuous battles, and then you were just like, this is no longer a problem anymore.
Yeah, and then I was like, all right. What the fuck am I doing?
So consistent resistance prevails, I guess.
Right, but then it's just you're doing it for yourself. You know it's not good for you. You know it's not good.
Yeah, but why do you still keep doing it?
My exact same question to myself. I was like, why do you do it? You know it's not good for you, but you're like, it feels good.
No, it's
Shut the fuck up.
It
doesn't matter if it feels good. You know it's not good for you.
Exactly.
What's more important, that it feels good?
Yeah.
Or that it's not good for you?
Yeah. Fuck.
It's that. And then when you're like, well, I like that it feels good.
Those are hard choices.
And if you just go for the feel good, your pleasure drive is too high.
Yeah, those choices are never in front of you though. You have to generate those choices for yourself. When do you ever think about that shit?
Well, that's half the power you like. The awareness aspect, the introspective aspect, that has to be there.
That's questioning literally everything. Is this deserving? Will this help me or will this hinder me? Type shit.
Understanding that makes it simpler. Because obviously, if it feels good and you know it's not good for you, it's a fucking easy choice.
Shouldn't do it.
Obviously.
I would still do it.
Pleasure drive, too high.
Fuck. So how do you mitigate that?
Like even
more?
with me, you have to do stuff to make you feel like you have agency, where you feel like you can do it. It's that. Because he's like, Paul Conti was like, the healthy self is somebody that has agency and gratitude.
Yes, I remember agency and gratitude.
He's like, but how do you build this agency and gratitude? You know,
for real.
And then he tells you, he literally lines it up for you. This is what you do. This is what you do.
Yeah, being grateful, meditate, fucking.
Well, he gives you the actual tools where you're like, well, for you to be grateful, you have to understand yourself.
Yeah, it's perspective too. You have to look at it a certain way.
You understand yourself, and then you feel compassion for yourself because, yes, you understand why you do these things. But you do also understand that they're bad for you. Just because you understand them doesn't mean you should keep doing them.
So when you're real enough with yourself to call yourself out on your bullshit.
Yes, you're like, wild. You know it's not good for you. Why the fuck are you doing it?
Yeah, that just means you have a weak will then, because your pleasure drive out seeks or fucking outpaces the generator.
And he says every time it's like a healthy person will always have a higher generative drive than the pleasure and the aggressive drive.
That's crazy.
No matter what you think, this is what's going on.
It's really unhealthy then.
Yes, and then he's like, even in a relationship, the healthy relationship will always have people that have two high generative drives that are not fighting with the other drives. Because they just want to do good for themselves and do good for each other. That's naturally healthy. But if one is too high, and let's say there's a person over here with a high generative drive and this person over here with a high aggression drive, they think everything they do is better, without consideration that this person over here, maybe they want to do stuff as well that they considered good.
So they have no consideration, basically.
At that point, yes. And then the pleasure drive is a problem, the same thing. You're not going to consider doing the stuff that they found pleasurable because you find pleasure in these things, and what they do doesn't matter, because the generative drive is not there to be like, well, I want to do good for us, not just for me.
Right.
But as soon as the generative drive is low and those two are higher, you start being less considerate, basically.
That's wild.
Yeah. Big problem.
So, yeah. Definitely need to find a healthier hobby and a better way to spend my time.
And naturally, you're going to do more. Naturally. But it's learning. You have to like find the urge to learn. Like, to feel good. For me, learning just works.
Yeah.
Like, because then I can do this, where everything just makes sense. I'm like, everything just fucking makes sense.
Well, nothing makes fucking sense to me just yet.
Well, it does. You're just saying shit like that. I know it does. But you have this tendency to try to convince yourself that it doesn't.
You caught me.
It is what it is, bro.
You caught me, bro. And that might be an underlying thing, too.
It is.
I have a tendency to convince myself before I actually give it a shot. What does that stem from? I don't fucking know.
Well, you gotta find it. He talks about that. It's like when you do find a behavior that's like that, you go back to the structure of the self and the function of the self. These are the two pillars that he talks about all the time. He's like, the structure is how you work. And he's like, you have a conscious, you have an unconscious, and you have defense mechanisms. I don't know if you listen to it.
That doesn't sound familiar.
Well, he says that he's like, you have the conscious self that allows you to have this awareness to look back at yourself and see how you're truly working, and then to see the defense mechanisms to see if those defense mechanisms are healthy. Because for me, let's say I had an unhealthy defense mechanism where I tend to avoid relationships, and then I was like, that's not good. Let me change that. So I did. You know, and then but you have to look at it and be like, okay, so my defense mechanism, let's look at them first. What is a defense mechanism? It's the thing that allows you to protect yourself, you know, basically, so that your conscious aspect of yourself is like in generally fine. But that's not for the avoidant aspect. It's not necessarily good because I don't have relationships. As a social person, that's not good.
Okay.
Like as a human being, that's unhealthy. Okay? And then you go to the function of the self and be like, how do these behaviors get acted out? Isolation. You know, instead of being, he calls it affiliative, when you're affiliate with others. It's that versus being affiliative versus being isolated. And I tend to be isolated. This is why my hobbies are isolated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I was just looking into that and I was like, this is not good. This is not good. And then you just find the opposite and you do the opposite. You're like, okay, so isolation is fine, but now when you just do that. So you need to be affiliative in some ways. And you just keep doing the thing. But then you have to ask the questions like, are my defense mechanisms healthy? Are everything that I do healthy? Like, is there reasonable things that I'm doing for actual reasonable reasons? It's a lot of questions, yes, but you need those answers. You know? So he's like, if you have a problem of some behavior, always go back to that. I'd be like, what's the structure? And then he tells you the structure, the consciousness, and then the defense unconscious, and then the defense mechanisms that arise from habits. Right. And then it's like, and then how do they appear in your life, like actively? And that's the function. And then you're like, do I like that? And then, is that good for me? And then you gotta ask those questions. But this is why the talk therapy that they talk about is good. Because they do that for you. Right. Like for me, I'm doing that to myself. And I'm sure that if I had a psychologist...
Yeah, he'd help you.
They would help me a lot more.
That faster, yeah.
Because they would have... it's a whole hour or two, whatever, how long the therapy is.
For sure.
That they just go for it. You know? But it depends on the therapist and all this stuff. But yes. It's important to do those things. So maybe you do need therapy. That specific, like, talk therapy. Where you're like...
I don't have nobody, dog.
I mean, I help you, but I can't do everything.
Yeah. Exactly. No, absolutely. Everything. And I appreciate that help. I'm not disregarding that one bit. You feel me? But also, I can't tell you everything because at the same time, I'm not trying to come to you with my fucking problems and shit. And to be honest, there's a point, like, if I tell you, you're like, John, this is nothing new. You should be doing this already. So that's why I don't tell you, because I know I need to handle it.
When it's a thing that you know, you've told me before.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, you just have to, like, not do it.
Yeah.
And it is simple. And it's hard.
Right, but I was talking about the therapy aspect.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's BetterHelp. That's online.
Go check out BetterHelp online.
Like, check out our coupon code down below.
Hell yeah.
But even Huberman, like on that episode today, he's like, our sponsor today is BetterHelp. You know.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's about to go into depth with that guy that he went to talk therapy because he knew he fucking needed that.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's mainly about you figuring out yourself and understanding yourself. Which a lot of people don't want to do.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. It's scary. Yeah. It's hard work, and it's a lot of shit that you have to face that you don't want to face because whatever you're facing still brings you somewhat pleasure. Or you're just attached and you can't get rid of it, or so you tell yourself. So.
But you know what I'm getting at?
I do. I'm just a kid. You know
what the fuck I'm getting at? No. You're giving yourself an out. I'm just a kid. Shut the fuck up. Goggins boy here will be like, you're a bitch. That's what you are. You're a bitch and you're lazy. Get it fucking done. Why do people not care about the truth? Okay, let me read this real quick.
This was amazing.
Like, the truth is uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's why half the time people don't want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So and uncomfortable comes as it feels hard.
Yes.
When something is uncomfortable, what is that? It's hard.
Hard to digest.
Goggins this shit, dude. You got Goggins it. This is why Goggins became a fucking a
sensation.
Verb. Yep. It's instead of just Goggins the guy, they made it Goggins the verb, dude. They made it you just do it, dude.
Goggins that shit. Yeah.
And he's like, most people don't They just don't want to deal with it.
That's facts. What people hard truths?
Most people don't want to know what they don't have a chance at. Oh, there you go. Most people don't want to know what they don't have a chance at, what they would like to have, and would rather ignore the fact of instead of just face it head on. Like instead of trying to learn your limitations and knowing what you can truly not do, you'd rather just ignore it than face it head on. You know,
that works with a lot of shit.
Right, which is not good though.
No, it's not.
And then it's a drag, you know, like, but it is what you have to do. You know, this the work that matters.
Yeah.
It's like you can see this when you're as a person. You can see this when you as a person that is realistic, and by this I don't mean pessimistic. We're not talking about being pessimistic here. We're talking about being real with yourself. And then try to let someone know about some limitation you have, and they try to tell you that it's not true, and try to comfort you out of thinking about the truth. Like when you're like, instead of being pessimistic, you're like, I can't do that. Like that's not a me thing. But then somebody's like, you can, you know. But if you were truly being real, you would know that as a limitation for yourself, instead of lying half the time to say something like that just because you think that that's how it works. Half the time when you're like, I can't stop smoking, you know you can. You don't want to just say that. You know what I'm saying? It's simple to just say the truth. But a lot of the time, it makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
So you don't want to say it like that.
You wanna revise.
And that's a defense mechanism to make yourself feel better, because you want to feel good, obviously, and you want to have this sense of agency where you're like, I can get stuff done, but you have to work on it. You don't just get to say, I can do shit, and then be like, but I can't stop smoking. You know, that's like, obviously you can't. You're still smoking, you know?
Right.
That's just one example of many. So you have to like make things happen to be like, I can do stuff. And then the sense of agency keeps building. But you have to build the gratefulness and the agency aspect.
Yeah, and I also need to adapt moderation too.
Like, yeah, smoking is cool enough, but like when it turns detrimental, that's not good.
Yeah.
Like when it's burning your money, that's especially not good.
Yeah.
It's just a thing, you know. When you're like, all right, I'm gonna spend $30 a week. That's it.
Pretty much.
But then you have to know, like, is that enough, or is that like still too much? And
that
then you
could be both.
You gotta look at the numbers. Like, how many weeks are in a month? About 4.5.
That's $120.
And then at the end of the year, it's over 1,000. Is that worth it? And then you gotta consider that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's all heavy consideration in yourself.
Oh.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
That's the thing.
For me, I'm like, hey, I'm just in that place where I'm like, I'm doing this stuff right now.
It's a hard truth for me to face because it's such a tool in my arsenal, man. I'm giving myself excuses, and at the end of the day, I just don't want to quit.
Exactly.
The thought of dealing with my fucking job and not having that escape. Well, maybe I should start there because I sound like a weak bitch right then and there, don't I?
It's highly dependent on you.
Scared of a little bit of feelings?
Fuck. Are you?
A little bit.
Are you? Feelings
just don't know
are
how to
fun.
manage them, you know? You just don't know how to manage them.
Sometimes feelings can be annoying, you know? Especially when somebody makes you feel a particular way.
Annoyance, for sure.
Yeah. Like, even me, I'm like, damn, I don't like that people can make you feel particular ways. That's kind of like annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a thing. It's very much a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you just have to deal with it. Like, it's like trying to control the universe. Like,
can't do it.
You can't do that. You just gotta work with the universe.
You can't do that. Facts.
So it's a thing. You're like, all right, so since I can't stop it, how do I deal with it? But that's what the feelings things, you know?
Yeah.
Because obviously, people can make you feel particular things, especially when you're like involved. And you're like, I am kind of, you know, taking their opinion seriously or whatever the fuck, and then they make you feel a particular way, and you're like, damn. Like that, my whole day was ruined just because they said that one thing. Yeah. That's not good.
That's wild.
But it's good when you're noticing that that's what's going on, and you're like, do I want to do that? You know. But then it will put you in a position like me where you start avoiding relationships, and you're like, I don't want to ever do that. But then you're like, that's not healthy, bro.
Yeah, for real.
You can't not do that.
I don't think so. I've been alone for a fucking long ass time. When you find the strength in being alone, that's amazing. But sometimes you get sick of it.
It's to the point there's a problem. I'm too comfortable being alone.
Yeah. Know that that's never a problem.
But it is a problem. It is a problem until obviously you get to the point where you're like, but I'm willing.
Right.
But I'm willing to not. I'm willing to like be open to have a relationship.
That's always good. Plus, but like fuck.
But you can't just avoid relationships because you don't want to deal with that.
Not only that, man. It's just but it's just like most of these motherfucking women are just
it's worth it.
Unfaithful to a T, man.
But you're just that's a selection problem.
That's a societal problem too.
No, it's a selection problem. And then it's not a societal problem.
It's a societal problem.
It's a society of like the culture. Because you go on the internet and they prevail that into you. Yeah. But then you go to work and you see other girls that are not like that. But you think all girls are like that. Yeah. And they're not. They're just
definitely
not.
Capable of it, but some of them
Of course they're capable. You know, we are all capable to be assholes. Doesn't mean we all are assholes. You know what I'm
saying? You do raise good points.
But I'm just like, the internet is going to show you what triggers your brain because they want you on the internet. Yeah. So you can't trust what they say. Fact. It's like when they're like, the world is ending, and then you go to work the next day and you're like, wait a minute.
Where's the end type shit? You know, that's supposed to happen today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, because of the eclipse. But
because of the eclipse.
It's full people being gullible. Yeah. It's the same thing that happens when you send me the video about the Matrix, the color of the two circles. The same thing is going on, dude. Mm-hmm. They're tricking you into this.
Think for yourself. Don't be sheep.
Yeah, they're tricking you into this. Because guess what? It gets likes. It fucks with your brain a little bit. It stimulates just you enough for you to like be like, really, that's crazy. The world is ending, and then you start doing stupid shit, whatever. You can't let them convince you. You know what I'm saying?
I have too much to think about. I'm fucking dead serious, bro. This is the hardest podcast episode we've done for me. This is like the hardest truth.
It's not a you thing. It's this is me talking. I might be talking to you,
right? But
I'm telling myself this also. Yeah, right. Like I'm not just telling this to you because it's a you problem. Yeah. This is going on within me too.
I feel it, and I can relate to that.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm able to tell you this is because I'm dealing with it as well.
Yeah, currently, and seems to me from an outside perspective, you have a better grasp on it.
And that's just because I let that be the case. Like, it's not that I'm doing better or anything. It's that I portray myself in that particular manner. Because it's unnecessary for me to be like, I'm freaking out, bro. This all sucks. No. This doesn't help.
Yeah, but where does that come from?
What?
You're just right there, just freaking out. You just remember, hey, that's unnecessary. It's not going to help people. Where does that? Where does that come from? Okay. That's a sense of stoicism. That's a sense of duty. It's a confidence thing. It's a confidence thing. Where does that stem from?
Let me explain. You know? Let me explain. Like, Paul Conti was talking about how there's false confidence and there's true confidence. Mm-hmm. And false confidence comes from somebody that's like a narcissist. Mm-hmm. But they get a sense of confidence because they think they're better than everybody. And that's false confidence because it doesn't matter. That shouldn't be a problem. If you're better than everybody, that's not a question. You're just better. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you, like, basing your confidence off that? Because if your sheer confidence is like, if I have more money than everybody, I'm better. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily a good thing. But if you have the confidence that comes from you being able to handle anything, like if it comes, I'll be able to handle it. That's okay. Whatever happens, I'll deal with it. It's okay. That's true confidence. And you're like, for me, I seem chill because that's how I feel. Mm-hmm. I feel like I just handle it. I'm like, it's okay. Me as a person, I'm like, just handle it.
You seem to take ego out of that very fucking well. Because ego, in the sense of the narcissist thinking he's better than everybody versus you taking the ego out, literally flipping the perspective of saying it's not about I'm better than you. It's about I can handle whatever the fuck I need to.
Yes, whatever happens.
And that stems from security. That's like
right.
You know,
it's he basically mentions that as like the sense of agency has been built up to the point that you do truly feel that you can handle things. But this gets built up, you know. So it's like the little wins. Like when the morning where he's like, just those 90 minutes that I have to wait for the coffee, bro. It sucks. But that little win is beautiful because then later in the day, I don't feel tired.
Facts.
So it's just those.
That is a fact.
Those little wins help because you're like, I can do it. I can do it. But and it builds a habit. It might be hard, but it's good. It's a good hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's not bad. It's challenging.
Yeah, and McGregor talks about that too.
It's like challenging, not necessarily
hard, impossible.
Like difficult.
Yeah, it's not impossible.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a difficult thing. It's just challenging. Like it's a little you have to label it as a challenge. Yeah. They're like 90-minute challenge, no coffee.
It's definitely not hard, but it's definitely not impossible. Yes. You can do it.
And it's good for you.
Right. And it's good for you.
Like, and that should be why you're doing things. Cause
I failed to remember that, man.
It's like, is this good for you?
Type shit.
It's like, is this detrimental?
Type shit, yeah.
You gotta be like, I care too much about myself to do detrimental stuff.
Not really. You convince yourself at that point. You're just like, this is gonna help this is gonna help quiet my mind right now. And so this is why this helps.
But the mind is yelling at you for a reason. It's like, why aren't you getting it done? You're like, shut up.
For real.
You're like, shut up. I don't want to think about that right now.
Just give me an hour.
But the brain is just trying to help you. I don't know. It's like, you should be doing this. You're like,
bro,
shut the fuck up.
You know you should be getting this done.
But you're like,
bro, I will. Just relax. Right. It's just like, bro, you have 3 hours left. 2 hours left. You have 20 minutes left.
And the way to shut it up is to do it.
Yeah.
That's why when you go on a run and you're just doing that, you feel good. And no voice in your head telling you this sucks. Unless you do have that.
No, I do.
That means that you just build it up.
I have that voice that's just like, it sucks, but you can do it. Just push past.
Right.
That's my inner voice. When I go running, it's just
challenging.
Like, yeah.
But it's doable.
Yeah, it's just wait till this gets hard. It's like, all right, now this is hard. Fuck it, keep going. Fuck it, keep going. Don't stop yet. Don't be a bitch. Keep fucking going. Like that's my head when I'm fucking running, bro.
You have a lot of negative self-talk. That's half the stress that you have is that. And then Paul Conti talks about how to get rid of that. You just haven't listened to it yet.
Bro, do you know how hard it is to love yourself?
No, I don't. I already did the work.
That's crazy. We can do an episode on that.
I did the work enough to be like, do that for others. Love yourself for others if you can't do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? At that point, you gotta trick yourself into it. It's like, if I can just love myself for myself, I should just love myself for other people because it's good for them.
I should go to therapy for that one.
You know what I'm saying?
That definitely needs to be unraveled.
Like the way there was another guy, Matthew
Hogan?
Hughesly, something like that. He's like a dating coach type thing. He's like, you gotta love yourself like you love the kid that you had. Like you just love them because they're yours. That's your kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do that for yourself. You have to love you because you're yours. And naturally, you'll take care of it. This is where the unconditional love aspect comes. When you're just loving yourself because of you.
Isn't that fucked up to say that you don't know how, you never felt that,
it's that the not knowing how isn't the problem. It's like saying, I don't know how to play the guitar.
Right.
But doesn't mean you can't learn, you know? It's not like he puts it. Paul Conti was putting it. It's a problem when you have no confidence in anything because you have zero confidence in yourself. But he's like, if you have confidence in this particular context, the mechanical structure for confidence is built in you. Mm-hmm. So it's not a problem. You just have to cultivate so it grows. So if you have the ability to love others. The mechanism is there. You just have to introspect it and put it towards yourself. Just like you love your nieces or your mom. The same way, just that love thing has to go back into you.
It's fucked up because I don't know how to do that.
That's what I'm telling you. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for them because it's good for them. Like loving yourself is good for them too.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I don't.
Well, figure it out.
It's like you can't just think of them every time, you know, you're a piece of shit. Oh, they would want you to be happy, John. Smile. It's like, what the fuck?
Right. That doesn't work for you.
No, it doesn't.
So
I mean, because I can't.
Does.
I need a fucking something to constantly remind me, and that's honestly what children do.
Right.
Children need to be reminded of things. So it's that isn't prominent enough for me to impact me enough to fucking learn to love myself.
And then he also was like, negative talk is let's say you've done negative talk for the most of your life, sure, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, and you want to stop it in 30 days? That's not how it works. It's gonna take at least
years.
Yes.
Probably.
To slowly. First, you take it not serious. Then, it starts talking less. Cause why? You're not entertaining it, and that literally part of your brain is not being used anymore. Cause it's first it tells you this, then you react, and then it just boop 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 keep building itself up. But first it tells you this, and you're like, yeah right, chill out, dude. And then it's whoop, it goes down, and then it tries again. And it's like, yeah, all right, chill out. And then you just keep doing it. You stop taking it serious, cause it's not a you thing, but you're labeling it as a you thing. It's a brain thing. It's the little voice is not you. That's and you probably do deem it as you, but it's not you. The you thing is the thing that's listening to the voice and saying, yes, I do suck. That's the you part. The voice is not, you shouldn't let that voice dictate who you think you are. Because then you end up with that problem.
I'm going to cry, dog. I'm going to cry. That's pretty good.
Paul Conti
that's pretty solid advice, man.
Just Paul Conti puts it so well. He's like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
That's pretty good.
I was just like, this guy's making sense. This makes way too much fucking sense.
Damn.
And so it totally makes sense that he's making sense because he's like,
what episode was that?
I think it was the first. You probably listened to it already. You just didn't hear it.
I'm gonna have to re-go over that.
You heard it, but you didn't listen.
Situation. Yeah, I guess.
I could probably find it for you because I'm on the third.
Because most of what we said was like agency and gratitude. I remember all that shit. Like there's a lot of shit I remember.
But you didn't integrate it.
But no, it just
like for me,
I kind of absorbed it. Some things here, but
like for me, this second time that I listened to it is just went deep. That shit just went deep. I was like, this makes so much sense, and I can see it in other people. Mm-hmm. When I'm like, your generative drive is low. And it's not that that's who you are. It's that it's just what's going on right now.
Not currently, right.
You just have to develop it. It's a cultivation thing. You just have to work on it little by little. And then boom. At one point, it's a full garden, beautiful garden. And you can enjoy yourself. Without having the detriment of like, I'm a piece of shit. Maybe I shouldn't like be cautious about everything I do because I'm a piece of shit.
Maybe that's somewhat attention seeking too, subconsciously. You think that it's like a victim role. It's
the victim mentality.
Yeah, the victim mentality a little bit. So you're just like
playing the victim.
You know, you don't really have backup, so you're like, look at me carrying this boulder, shedding a tear, but it's all good. I got to keep going up on the top. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, to me, I always.
What does that stem from? That stems from lack of attention, lack of.
Well, for me, I always hated attention. Like I'm the opposite, where I just hated when people pay attention to me.
That's wild. I'm like,
I never had attention-seeking behavior where I was just like, I don't wanna.
Approval and attention-seeking. Can you group those together? Like approval, seeking attention is like both, essentially. Because the reason why you're seeking attention is for their approval. So you're seeking their approval.
Yeah, that's called something else, actually.
What is that?
There's a word for that.
What word?
We used it before.
Fuck. When you're seeking someone's approval, what?
Not approval, but something else. Oh, it's the same thing where it's attention and approval at the same time.
Huh. People pleasing?
No, it's that same category of things, but it's a word. It's one word, not people pleasing. It's one word. But it's that.
Okay.
Validation.
Oh, validation.
There you go. Right. Validation is approval plus attention, dude.
That's funny.
From others,
yes.
Detrimental.
So what does that mean? So you're not that's insecurity then.
It's insecurity within you.
Right.
You need to learn how to trust yourself. Cuz another video I saw, the lady
all ties into each other.
There was another video I saw, like there was a lady asking, they were like, how can I learn how to trust yourself? Mm-hmm. You know? And he was like, that's a like oxymoron, you know, because you are trusting yourself right now, thinking that you don't trust yourself. Why are you trusting that? You know,
that's funny. That is a good
and
question.
then you're like,
wait a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it's a convincing aspect.
It's a perspective thing.
Yeah, where you're like, you're obviously trust yourself enough to think that these thoughts that you're telling yourself are trustworthy, but then you pick and choose where you don't want to trust yourself.
Bingo.
So it's just eventually you'll build a sense of agency where you get stuff done and you're like, I can totally do this. I've done it. Look at that. And then you have these credentials for yourself where you're like, look, I did this, I did that, I did that. Enough to trust myself. Then you keep developing. And then it cultivates. And it grows. And you feel that sense of agency and gratitude and you healthy. But it's introspective. You need introspective first to understand yourself. Then you build compassion and self-respect. And then you just do it for yourself. But it's a problem that's easily fixed by introspection. It's understanding. It's the understanding thing.
Damn.
But it's doable.
I just gotta do it.
At least you're not the guys that are like unconscious and incompetent. Like NPC status.
Yeah.
Like that sucks.
Isn't that people who populate the term ignorance is bliss? They're just going through life, you know.
They'll rather not know. Yeah. Which is not what ignorance is bliss is supposed to mean. That's just how we took it over here because we like to bullshit over here.
Isn't there more to that thing too? Ignorance is bliss, but something is something.
Well, ignorance is bliss was meant by identifying yourself with ignorance or what you don't know because that's something that's fully infinite. What you don't know is abundant. So infinite, like identifying yourself with that is true bliss because you get comfortable. And a good example of that is like being in the dark and not being afraid of it. Because yes, you don't know what's in there. But when you get comfortable with not knowing, everything's great. Everything's great.
Bliss.
That's where that phrase came from. But then you come over here and we love to bullshit. So then they were like, hey, how about you just don't look at it, bro?
The ignorance is bliss, man. If you don't look at it, it's all good.
Yeah, like, you sound dumb. You sound dumb.
You sound like a shithead, you know, a little bit.
But
sorry, but you do.
But it's the cope. They're trying to cope in a very unhealthy manner. Yeah. So you gotta find the coping mechanisms that you have that are unhealthy. Coping
skills,
yeah. Like for me, coping in general, like playing the guitar and all that stuff, it just feels good. In general. So, and then learning feels good. These are coping mechanisms that allow me to deal with life in general. You know? And that's what a coping mechanism is.
I'm starting to fucking yawn. It's 4 o'clock.
We're done though.
Gay.
We're done though.
I know, but I'm like fucking. Usually, I don't start yawning until like 5 or 6. Well, this is
supposed to happen. They call it a pre-something dip, where in the middle of the day, you're supposed to get tired for like an hour.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a nature thing.
That's a nature thing. All right, that makes sense.
It happens to everybody.
That's all right.
Huberman is like, I just take a nap.
Yeah, I
like a 10-minute NSDR. Yeah, he's like, I'm fine.
Non-sleep, deep rest, right?
Like even for me, I noticed that yesterday. I was watching a video that Paul Conti, and then I was like, this is just a thing. And then 20 minutes later, I was like, oh, I'm fine all of a sudden. I don't even want to take a nap. I was like, but yes. We're done. This is an hour and 40 minutes.
All right.